that was a fun game. If you like offense, that was fun for the fans, I'm sure, at least for the Alabama fans. And listen, I got to teach these guys some math occasionally. I told Sears there's a thing called regression to the mean. His last 6 games, he was shooting 14%, 5 of 35. He's not a 14% shooter, obviously. They had been going under ball screens on just about every game we watched. I told both those guys, Holloway and Sears, man, I hope they go under us, because we're going to rain them. So we were in the gym last night, the night before, but these guys show up for voluntary shooting every time it's available to make sure that they're ready to go, and that work pays off. We want to base our program on hard work. So told Mark he's playing chess, not checkers. He just kind of set everybody up with that 5 of 35, thinking he was in a slump and he's going to come out, shoot like 63%, ain't bad. So 10 threes, I think first guy in NCAA tournament history, I was told, that had at least 8 threes and 7 assists. So, not only was he scoring it, he was moving it. Helps to get assists when you got guys like CY and Aiden Holloway making shots like they did too. So between these 3 guys, we had 21 threes. It's, we've hit 22 before a couple times, I think maybe 23. We've never hit 25. So, and BYU, with their personnel, we knew that they started going under, but they always collapse. I mean, they kind of have to, and they kind of got away with it against some teams that don't space like we do. But I told these guys going in, if you'll move the ball, we end up with 27 assists. I'm not sure where that ranks in tournament history, but if you'll move the ball, our offense is designed to beat a defense like this. So they're heavy in the gaps, they overhelp, and we did. So now they're a really good offensive team too. Everybody questioned whether we had defense to win. For some reason, nobody was talking about our offense though. I've gotten to know Mike D'Antoni a little bit. He made the point, your offense only has to be, one point in the efficiency better than your defense to win the game. Now, we're trying to get stops, and I thought we did a pretty good job. They went on a run. I remember Sears got a steal. When they started to make a run there in the second half, it's a big play. We got a bunch of old boards. Our second chance points, I thought we hit some threes off that. We gave them too many second chance, but we did hit some threes off it. So, it was good. We were able to rest some guy. Our top minute guy was Sears with just over 30, and then, nobody else. CY and Grant, 27 and 25. So, whoever we play, we were able to get these guys a little bit more rest than normal. So, proud of our guys. We're in the Elite 8 for the 3rd time in school history and back-to-back. So, Sears has been in the middle of it. These 2 guys came to play with them, and they're unbelievable backcourt together. I thought LeBaron did a good job, moving the ball tonight, too. He went 2 or 3 himself. He ended up with 6 assists. So, I thought everybody played well in their roles tonight.
Start with questions for the student athletes. Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone, give name and affiliation before asking your question. We'll start here in the front row. On this side.
Jackson Shanks, Seton Hall Center for Sport Media. Aiden, we talked yesterday about how you've matured through the tournament. Last year with Auburn, a first-round exit. This year, you hadn't really had the game that put you on the map. And today, whenever Mark went out in that second half, it almost like it lit a fire under you, and you were able to answer each BYU 3 with your own. What about tonight made you so successful and allowed you to perform at that level?
My teammates just found me, honestly. That's all I'll say about that. It was just a good game. My teammates found me. And I just tried to not focus on shot making and focus on everything else, and shot making ended up, working out a little bit. So just shout out to my teammates for finding me all game.
We're going to come to this side in row 2.
Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. This is for Mark. Did you feel, is it possible to feel a game like this coming for you? And what is the feeling like when they're just going down like that?
Honest, like Coach said, we've been working all week to prepare for to get our shot right, and it just the matter of preparation we put in, it led to the success we had tonight.
We're going to come to the front row in the middle.
Mark, or for any of the guys, but we'll start with Mark since you had the biggest night. when coach says, hey, regression to the mean, hey, they're playing you, how much do you believe it? How much do you expect it, I guess, is the better word?
Yeah, even though when I was shooting 14%, my confidence was still high. I never stopped doubting myself and stopped believing in myself. And my teammates also, they kept encouraging me to keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. And that's just showed trust in them that even though when I'm not at my highest peak, they still trust me and want me to shoot the ball. So, it's a big shout out to them. And, just they went under the ball screen and I was able to get my rhythm early.
Chris, you also want to answer that question?
To be honest with you, before y'all talking about 14%, I had no idea who was shooting 14% because I never really paid attention to it. Mark's an incredible player, so all I know is when he gets the ball, the defense is collapsing on him, so it don't even feel like he's shooting 14%. But regardless if he is or not, his gravity that he has on the defense is, something I never played with before. So yeah, you don't really realize he's shooting 14%.
Next two questions are right in front of me, row 3.
Thanks. Guys, congratulations. Drew Wolin with NBA Draft Net. So I checked, this question's for anybody. I checked the stat sheet at halftime. 80% of field goal attempts were from 3. You guys slowed down a little bit in the second half. You finished the game, 77% of your field goal attempts were from 3. I went through your schedule, usually about a little less than half. Sometimes you go over half, like a couple more shots. What went into that tonight where 77% of your field goal attempts were coming from 3?
Why don't we start with Aiden and then we'll go to Chris.
I would say just for these two guys next to me, an open 3 is kind of a layup. So we're happy with 77% of our shots coming from 3 today. So.
Like Coach said to start off, the way they play defense, they're in the gaps heavy, and then if we have proper spacing, and if we don't take one dribble too much, or we're playing selfless, ready to move the ball, we're capable of having 80%, 77% percentage of our shots being 3s. So that's pretty simple.
Stay in that same row.
Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. Mark, this is for you, right here in front of you. I want to dig a little bit deeper. You made 10 three-pointers tonight. That's one shy of the NCAA tournament record. Could you just take us into what it feels like to play that well against a team that good on a stage this big? Are you physically conscious of what is happening as it continues to progress? Because it looked like you were in a zone and knew they were there for the killing.
Yeah, like you said, I was just in the zone, Once I seen the first 3 fall in, I felt like the basket was like as big as an ocean. And every time I shot, I felt like it was going in. So, yeah, I just lost myself in the game and, just let everything else happen.
All right, we'll go one row back in row 4.
Hi, Garrett Lash with Mid-Major Madness. This one's for Chris. Chris, obviously, you got a great coach up here with you. You played 4 years before that under Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, obviously. I know this might be an emotional question, but, what did he do to prepare you for this season, for this moment? Do you think about him when you're out there playing?
Probably the most important thing that I think about probably every practice, every game is, playing selfless. Not really, because, but previous 4 years, I was the main guy. So, I got talented players like Biz and Mark beside me. So really just being an ultimate team player, just not really worried about myself, playing within the flow of the game and just, losing yourself within the game, within the team. I might end up with 19 points, might end up with 5 points, but, as long as you get a win, I'm considered a winner.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes.
Everybody pouring it in for the Alabama Crimson Tide in this game, led by Sears. 25 made threes as a team. Nate Oats imploring his team to let that thing fly. They did just that in this game, and they play on to the Elite Eight.